Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. I am re-recording this and it is like midnight. I hope there's enough light in here. Thank you all so much for coming back and joining me. In today's video, I have a review and wear test of 3 new foundations, as you very well know by the title on the thumbnail. Before we go into the video, I do have timestamps down below, but there's a couple of things I really want to let you know. One, I have to make a disclaimer. These are totally my opinions. Your opinions may differ. How you feel about the foundation may be totally different how I feel. I would love it if you would tell us how you feel about them, if you've tried them, if you wouldn't, why. Do you have dry skin, oily skin, combo skin? It really helps. It helps me, and it also helps the other viewers that are reading through the comments. So I really appreciate it if you could provide your thoughts with that. The other thing, I have lots of new subscribers, and I want to let you know that I am 61 years old. As you probably know from the thumbnail, I have my share of hyperpigmentation, dark spots from too much sun exposure, and I certainly have my share of lines and wrinkles. Also, I am not a makeup artist. I am just a 61-year-old, just like you, playing with makeup. My opinions are just that, my opinions, whatever I say here. I do try to do a little bit of research on different products, but other than that, I'm certainly not a scholar when it comes to the makeup. The other thing that I wanted to mention to you, if you are a NARS fan, if you like that foundation, my daughter did a comparison between the NARS and the Anastasia Beverly Hills. So if you have a lot of that foundation, you might want to check out her video. I'll leave it listed down below along with the timestamp where she begins that comparison between the NARS and the Anastasia. So even if she is 30 years younger than us, at least you can see how the foundation works and how it compares, how the two compare. All right, now let's go on to the rest of the video. Thank you, everyone. That is important in all 3 of these foundations. I did not use a powder with any of them or a primer because I wanted it to be consistent. I used my regular skincare, and the only one I did something different. When we get to that foundation, I will let you know what I did and why I did it. I also applied the same blush with all 3. It was the Cover FX in Sweet Mulberry, and my shadows, my eye looks each day was with the Anastasia Beverly Hills and Jackie Aina palette. I love this palette. That's neither here nor there. This is about foundations. I try to keep the foundations on for 12 hours each day so you can see how it progressed. I took some. Without further ado, let's get started to the first foundation, and that is the Urban Decay, and this is the Stay Naked foundation. Urban Decay is cruelty-free and it is vegan. This foundation offers medium coverage and it is a matte finish. It is $39 and it is available in 50 shades with 9 intensities, and that's your light to dark. It's available in 3 master tones, and that's your cool, neutral, and warm, and it is available in 7 undertone. My shade is 50WY. It has a plastic bottle and it has a pump. The claims for this foundation are that it is waterproof, long wearing, it feels like second skin, it stays true to the color, and minimizes the appearance of pores. I did each of the foundation, half of my face with the Beauty Blender, and the other half I used the same brush for each one, and that is the Sigma F80. I thought that as I was applying it, I thought it went on perfectly fine. This is the foundation that I did something a little extra, and that was that I added some moisturizer, which I don't usually do. The moisture that I added was the Erno Laszlo, which is an emollient moisturizer. And the reason that I did this is because this foundation contains denatured alcohol in as the fourth ingredient. And I looked to see if there was some glycerin. I looked to see if there were other ingredients that would offset the alcohol, the denatured alcohol. Unfortunately, there was none. And some people might say, I think it was my daughter or my daughter-in-law that said, yeah, but you use the YSL and it has denatured alcohol as well. And yes, they're absolutely right. It does. Here's the difference. The difference with the YSL is that it contains this ingredient that I have tried numerous times to learn how to pronounce it. I've played Google many times and I still can't get it. I remember and then I forget. The YSL has that ingredient in the second place after water, before it has the denatured alcohol. And basically what this ingredient does, it is a mild water repellent and it forms a protective barrier on the skin. Therefore, you have a protective barrier against that denatured alcohol. Is it a foundation that I wear every day or would wear every day? No, absolutely not. However, the Urban Decay does not have any ingredients such as this one that I'm talking about. It doesn't have it. It doesn't have any glycerin. It doesn't have anything like that. There we go. I think this is a little better. I don't know. It looks, it certainly, well, it says that it's medium coverage, and I could see a lot of the hyperpigmentation peeking through, which is to be expected for a medium coverage. The blush went on fine. There was no issue there. I think that you can see some of the texture that I have right around here. It just seems to look a little bit with some dryness, but maybe it's just my imagination. I don't know. All right, we were just inside and I decided to come outside so you could see what the foundation looks like in the natural sunlight. I think the claims are right that it does feel very light. You don't feel as if you're wearing it in the first couple of hours, but I think that once the 4-hour mark comes on, then you start really seeing that foundation breaking up. My big concern and why I cannot recommend this foundation is because of the alcohol in it and because it doesn't have any other ingredients to offset it. If you have perfect normal skin with no discoloration and you wear a very good moisturizer and you're going to wear it for a few hours, I think it would be fine. My concern is for the dry skin gals. If that's what it did to me with normal skin, and you all have seen my skin, I have a lot of discoloration, but I have perfectly normal skin, and I thought that it was drying, and I thought it looked as if I had texture that I really don't have. With this foundation, I didn't keep it on for 12 hours. I was dying to take it off because it just looked so dry. But I did record what it looked like at the 10-hour mark. I lowered the ring light so that you can see how it looked without the additional lighting. And as you can see in the video, you can see that how all of my hyperpigmentation is looking. You could see it. And it's almost as if I'm not even wearing a foundation. It just wore off. And I didn't do anything out of the norm. If you have dry skin, I would be really, really careful with this foundation. If you're an oily girl, you might like it. But nevertheless, at our age, do we really want to put unnecessary alcohol when there are so many other foundations out there? I don't know. You tell me. If you have dry or oily or normal skin and you love this foundation, I would love to hear from you, and I'm sure lots of others would as well. I personally am taking it back and I will not put it on my face again. Let's go to the next foundation, and the next foundation that I have for you is the Dose of Colors. Dose of Color is $36 and it is available in 42 shades. It is vegan and cruelty free. It is talc free, paraben free, oil and fragrance free. There, besides the 42 shades, you also get 6 shade intensities from fair to dark. This foundation also has a slew, I think I counted 10 undertones, and it has undertones like olive and peach and pink and numerous undertones. There were at least 10, and I was really surprised to see those shades. I had never seen like a cool peach. This foundation is available at Ulta, and it is available at the Dose of Color website. The claims for this foundation, it is lightweight, it is a medium to full coverage, and it delivers a blurring effect which makes the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles and your skin imperfection, just it basically blurs them. It has a natural matte finish, and my shade in this one is 123 medium tan. For the second ingredient, it has this good ingredient that I can't pronounce, and I'm going to put it right here. And the third ingredient is going to make that barrier on the skin. It's going to slow down the water, and it's going to keep the skin hydrated, so your skin does feel hydrated and plump. Foundation applied beautifully. On one side I did the beauty blender, and on the other side I did the brush. I used the same brush as with the Urban Decay, the Sigma F80. It didn't streak with the brush. One application gave a good medium coverage. Because it is a medium to full coverage, I went back in to see how it looked as I built it. I added more foundation so you can see how it looked. It didn't look or feel cakey, and I really thought it did a great job in covering my imperfections. I'm doing the 6-hour check-in, and I'm doing it in front of some natural lighting so you can see what it looks like. I think it's holding up very nicely. It has not settled anywhere on my lines. It hasn't settled around my nose. There is no settling anywhere with this foundation. This foundation, it just felt like I was not wearing anything on my face. It just felt totally weightless, and I kept looking in the mirror and I kept thinking, wow, this looks really, really good. My skin felt hydrated, and even though it is a matte foundation, it's not a dry down, make your face look dry type of foundation. I thought it looked exceptionally well, so much so that I kept it on for the 12 hours because it was just so comfortable. And when I recorded it, once again, I dimmed down the ring lights so you can see what it looked like at the 12-hour mark, and I just thought it looked beautiful. It felt like skin, and I was blown away, because this is, I think, the first foundation that I have worn for 12 hours that just looks and feels so good. Because it is a natural matte finish, I think that if you are an oily gal, you're going to love it. I personally loved it, and if you have dry skin, maybe if you really like that matte look, I think that using a moisturizer underneath would be sufficient, because this foundation does not dry out your skin. It has those ingredients that in the second and third place that actually hydrate the skin. I highly recommend this. I think it is a beautiful, beautiful foundation, and I am really happy with it. The last foundation that I want to talk to you about is the Anastasia Beverly Hills. This foundation is $38 and it is currently on the Anastasia website as well as Ulta. I believe it's coming to Sephora on August 18th, but I will double check and I will put it on the screen for you. This is a luminous natural finish. This foundation is available in 50 shades. It has 5 intensities, from fair to deep, and at least 10 undertones, including the olive and the peach, just like the dose of colors. The claims for this foundation is that it is long wearing and that it is medium coverage. It feels lightweight and looks ultra fresh. There's no need to set this foundation with powder. It blurs imperfections, including discoloration and unevenness. Once again, with this foundation, I applied it half my face with the Beauty Blender and the other half with the F80 by Sigma. I felt that the foundation just spread easily, even though it is a medium coverage, I think it did a great job covering my discoloration and evening out my skin tone. When I applied it with a brush, it didn't streak. And I wanted you to see that it could be built up for additional coverage. I thought that it did a good job blurring the discoloration without looking cakey. It is medium coverage, therefore any of my uneven skin tone is going to peek through, but I think it has better coverage than the Urban Decay that's also medium coverage. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that it doesn't feel oily, even though it is a luminous foundation. It's nice and dry, obviously, after all these hours. And it hasn't settled in any lines on my forehead. It hasn't settled around my nose. It hasn't settled anywhere. Side light, I thought it just did a phenomenal job at the 6-hour mark. And at the end of the day, after 12 hours, this luminous foundation looked absolutely beautiful, just beautiful. If you like a luminous foundation, you will love this foundation. It is available in so many shades. It does a good job if you like it as a medium coverage, or if you want to build it up and you want to add a little bit more coverage. Yes, that's the one I'm wearing today. This foundation I think would work, I think it works exceptionally well on my normal 61-year-old skin, and I think it would work really well with dry skin. I think oily skin gals would like to add some powder to it. So yeah, there you have it. There are my 3 reviews on these new foundations. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know if there was one that you preferred or over the other, if you thought one looked better. If you disagreed with what I had to say on the foundations, with my thoughts and my findings on these foundations, I would love to hear from you, and I'm sure everybody else will. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day, and don't forget, ladies, follow your passion, whatever it may be. I'll see you next time. Bye.